Urgent Washington Commanders fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Washington Commanders updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, folks, today we're diving into a story that's buzzing around the NFL, especially among us Commanders fans. It's something that, if it happens, could totally change the landscape of the NFC East and even the entire league. We're talking about a potential blockbuster trade that's been floating around the rumor mill, an intriguing, bold move involving none other than Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins' electrifying all-pro wide receiver. That's right, the same Tyreek Hill, who has been one of the most explosive players in the league over the past few seasons, could become a Washington Commander. Now, I know this sounds like something out of a fantasy football daydream, but stick with me because the possibilities here are absolutely wild, and it's worth exploring all the angles. First, let's take a step back and look at how the Commanders are shaping up this offseason. After a disappointing 7-10 finish last year, Ron Rivera's squad has been actively trying to turn things around. They've made some significant moves, especially on offense, which was pretty underwhelming in 2024. The offensive line, which was a major concern last season, saw some key upgrades with the addition of Laremy Tunsil, one of the league's best left tackles, giving quarterback Sam Howell more protection and stability. On the receiver front, the Commanders already bolstered their ranks by bringing in Deebo Samuel, a player known for his versatility and playmaking ability, and they also added Noah Brown, who's been developing into a reliable target. The draft saw them selecting Jayden Daniels with the second overall pick, a young quarterback with a lot of potential, looking to grow into a franchise guy. But, despite these moves, many analysts and fans alike believe the Commanders still have room to improve, especially on offense. The addition of a player like Tyreek Hill could be the spark they need to truly elevate their attack to another level. Imagine pairing Hill with Terry McLaurin, one of the most underrated receivers in the league, and Deebo Samuel, who can line up anywhere on the field. That trio would be one of the most explosive groups in the NFL, capable of stretching defenses vertically and creating mismatches all over the field. The depth chart would be nearly unstoppable, with Lockett and Gallup providing additional weapons and Noah Brown adding to the versatility. For a young quarterback like Daniels, having such a deep and dangerous receiving core could be the perfect environment to develop and thrive. Now, let's talk about why this trade has been floated around as a real possibility. The Miami Dolphins, a team that's been highly competitive in recent years, are facing a bit of a crossroads. After back-to-back playoff appearances, there's some speculation that Miami might be considering a reset either because of salary cap constraints, a desire to rebuild for the future, or simply because they want to retool their roster to sustain their success. Tyreek Hill, who's entering his age 31 season, remains one of the league's most dangerous receivers, but he also comes with a hefty price tag, an enormous cap hit of around $30 million per year. The Dolphins are known for their aggressive front office, and if they lose confidence in their current roster or see a chance to capitalize on their assets, Hill could become available. That's where the Commanders come into the picture. They have the cap space, one of the few teams in the NFL that can absorb such a massive salary, and they're not afraid to make bold moves. Under the new regime, Washington has been playing a win-now game, trying to capitalize on the rookie contract window of their young players, especially Daniels. Adding a player like Hill would send a clear message that the Commanders are all in on competing this season. It's a move that could turn them from a decent team into a legitimate playoff contender, perhaps even a dark horse in the NFC. Of course, nothing in NFL trades is simple or guaranteed. Hill's off-field history has attracted some controversy, and his contract size means that he will need to produce at an elite level consistently to justify the investment. But if he's motivated and healthy, what player in the league could provide a bigger immediate impact? Hill's speed is unmatched, his ability to take the top off defenses is legendary. In Miami, he tallied 799 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns last season, averaging over 100 yards per game. Those numbers don't even fully capture his game-changing ability, which is evident every time he steps onto the field. For a young quarterback like Daniels, having a deep threat like Hill could be the difference between a good season and a great one. Now, let's pause here for a second. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Because, folks, this is where things get really interesting. The Dolphins, for all their recent success, haven't indicated any intention of trading Hill. But NFL teams often have a different perspective once the season starts, especially if things don't go as planned. If Miami struggles out of the gate, or if they realize that they might need to pivot and rebuild for the future, the door could open for a blockbuster deal. That's exactly what makes this scenario so compelling. Hill's potential availability could come down to how Miami performs in the early part of 2025. And for Washington, this could be the move that pushes them into serious playoff contention. Think about it, adding a player of Hill's caliber would immediately upgrade the passing game, giving Daniels the kind of weapon that defenses have to plan around. It would also take pressure off the offensive line, allowing the running game to flourish and opening up play-action opportunities. Hill's veteran savvy and elite speed could help a young quarterback like Daniels develop faster, making the Commanders a more dangerous team right from week one. But it's not just about the on-field impact. There's also a strategic element here. The Commanders have shown they're willing to be aggressive in their pursuit of success. Their front office has been proactive, making moves that signal they're serious about contending sooner rather than later. If the opportunity arises to acquire Hill, they might be one of the few teams capable of pulling it off financially and logistically. His massive cap hit might be a challenge for some teams, but Washington's cap space, combined with their willingness to make bold moves, makes this a very real possibility. Of course, a trade like this wouldn't be without controversy. Hill has faced scrutiny in the past related to off-field issues, and some fans might be concerned about the long-term implications of acquiring a player with such a high-profile history. But in today's NFL, talent often comes with baggage, and teams are increasingly willing to look past that if the player can deliver on the field. The key here is whether Hill can stay healthy, motivated, and focused, because if he does, the impact on Washington's offense could be nothing short of revolutionary. Now, let's consider the competition. If Hill truly hits the market, other teams will be knocking on Miami's door. The San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, and even some NFC teams could get involved. The Commanders would need to act quickly and decisively if they want to secure his services. The NFL is a league of inches, and a move like this could be the difference between a postseason appearance and missing out altogether. With their roster already trending upward, adding Hill might be the final piece they need to truly compete at the highest level. It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that could pay enormous dividends. Thinking about the broader picture, this kind of trade could shake up the NFC East hierarchy. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants are all formidable opponents, but if Washington manages to add a game-changing receiver like Hill, they could leapfrog some of their rivals. It's the kind of move that energizes a fan base, sparks locker room confidence, and sends a message across the league that the Commanders are serious contenders now. So, while all of this is still speculative at this stage, the potential is huge. If Hill becomes available, expect the Commanders to be at the front of the line, making calls, exploring trades, and trying to make this bold vision a reality. It would be a true game-changer, not just for Washington but for the entire NFC. The offseason is always full of surprises, and this could be one of the biggest yet. The NFL never stops evolving, and the Commanders are clearly looking to accelerate their trajectory. Whether it materializes or not, it's essential to stay tuned because this story is far from over. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think a trade for Tyreek Hill makes sense? Would you be willing to give up draft picks or players to make it happen? How do you see Hill fitting into the team's long-term plans? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of the Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This offseason is heating up, and if we've learned anything, it's that nothing is too crazy in the NFL, especially when it comes to trying to build a winning team. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, let's keep the faith in our guys and hope for some exciting developments ahead.